This right here is why we prepare. We don't prepare for the end of the world. We prepare for things like this so that we can get through them. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, lives will be lost in this coming week. We are headed to what is going to be an epic storm. I've seen some videos in the last few days warning people in the lower 48 mainly that things are going to get very, very cold in places that normally don't get too cold. Well, I've stayed off of that for a while because I know that weather changes. But now that it's hitting here, I'm pretty convinced that it is going to play out the way that it has been portrayed, even on the mainstream media. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very serious. Let me show you what I mean by that it's happening here. Right now, here, where I live right now, it's negative 21 degrees. I'm in the bunker right now. It's negative 21 degrees. What is it in here? 58 degrees in here. Right? And I have my heater, as a matter of fact, on high. But it's only about a 1300 watt heater. And 58 degrees for me is fine. I'm pretty comfortable in that temperature. However, a lot of people are not. So you have to prepare for what's coming. You already know that it's coming. It is coming and you must prepare. I'm going to go back to the same thing that I always tell everyone. Everyone should have a generator first and foremost. Yes, you need your preps. You should have food. You should have water, all those things. But if you live in an area, especially where you need heat, in order to stay warm because the weather gets so cold, you should have a generator. And I'm not talking about a solar generator. As a matter of fact, I have a video coming up, probably here within the next couple of hours. I have a video coming up that talks to you about what kind of generator you should get. How big a generator should you get? Should you get a solar generator first? Should you get a regular generator first? All of that kind of stuff. How big of one do you need? How do you determine how big a generator do you need? Ladies and gentlemen, right now for what's going to happen in the next few days in the lower 48 going into Christmas, you need to have a generator. Now, everything I'm telling you is my opinion because I can't tell you what to do. You have to do your own research. There are videos out there that show you how to connect your forced air system, for example. Let's say, for example, you have a forced air system that provides you with heat via the use of natural gas, let's say. There are videos out there that tell you and show you how to convert one of those systems so that you can actually power it with your generator, because most of those systems, they are hardwired into your electrical box. And most people are not comfortable with that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so simple to do this. However, you have to do your research and do what you're comfortable with doing. I don't want people out there, doing stuff that's going to cause them more harm than good. So do your research. Right now, what I'm doing with you, ladies and gentlemen, is thinking out loud, sharing with you my thoughts as to what I would do if I were in the situation that most people in the United States are going to be in here in the coming week. I've heard many people say, you don't need a generator. What are you going to do with a generator if an EMP happens or if a coronal mass ejection happens? Ladies and gentlemen, what are the odds of a coronal mass ejection or EMP happening? Really, what are the odds compared to a CME or an EMP? What are the odds that you're going to have weather where you're going to need a generator? I would say that the odds that you're going to need a generator for bad weather instead of there being an EMP or a CME are much greater. If you can, go get a generator. Prepare for this storm that is coming, because unfortunately, I can pretty much say this with confidence that there are going to be fatalities here within the next week. Please don't be one of those people that looks back towards this Christmas season of 2022 as being the season where you lost a loved one. All right, if you cannot afford to get a generator to keep the heat on your home, see if you can spend some time with other family members in case you do lose electricity. Because more than likely, we're going to have electrical outages, grid failures throughout, because cold doesn't care where it is. Cold doesn't care who you are. So you need to get yourselves a generator. I've been talking about this for a long time. It doesn't have to be a big fancy one. It doesn't have to be a whole house one. It has to be something that's big enough that's going to keep your home heated. And in addition to that, keep your pipes from bursting. That way your life doesn't become more complicated than what it is already. If you cannot afford a generator because you can't go out there and get $400 or $500, there are other options. For example, this is what I would do. I would go out there and buy a big buddy heater or two and get some propane or enough propane to make sure that I can put that buddy heater in the lowest part of my house. So if you have a basement, that would be a great place to put your heater, right? Your alternative heating appliance, whatever it may be it a buddy heater, be it a Mr. Heater, that's a bigger one, whatever it may be. Put it in the lowest place of your home. It's not going to heat your entire home, but it will keep a space warm and it will keep your pipes from bursting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is very important. You still have time to go out there and purchase these things. You still have time to go out there and get a few propane tanks. Make sure that you have a carbon monoxide detector or carbon dioxide detector. I always mess that up, to make sure that you're safe in your own home. If you have a gasoline generator, please do not use it inside your home. Do not use it inside your garage. Make sure that you follow the instructions on the manual as to where you should place it in accordance to where your house is. Most owner's manuals that I've read say that you should place it at least 25 feet away from your home or to an entrance or opening that comes into your home. Let me explain to you really quick why it is that you should never ever run a generator, a gas generator that is, inside your garage. Because many people are like, well, the garage is sealed off from the rest of the house, and more than likely your garage actually has a fireproof door. Because code in most places, in most counties, suggest that you, or not suggest, but they say mandate that you have to have a fireproof door between your garage and your home. Well, you may feel safe because of that, and then therefore run a generator in there. Even if the door of the garage is open, you shouldn't run a generator in your garage. The reason is this: most garage spaces have the heating systems in the garage. And if it's a forced air system and you're generating carbon dioxide through your generator in your garage, then that forced air heating system will allow that carbon dioxide to get into your home, forcing it through your vents. So it's very important that you follow the manufacturer's instruction, especially the safety instructions that it brings. I always read the owner's manual and operating instructions on everything that I get. I take the time to read through it because it's important that you understand how to operate whatever device it is that you got the right way, so that you don't end up hurting yourself or someone in your family. I just wanted to show you what the severity of this storm is looking like. And I mean, it gets worse and worse and worse as the days go on. And going back to that, now I'm pretty sure that it's going to happen because of what's happening here in Alaska. It's that usually these Arctic blasts, they start here and they work themselves down, or their way down through Canada and then to the lower 48. But this is a whammy of an Arctic blast. Right here, it's only 21 degrees below zero. But let me show you what it's looking like in the rest of Fairbanks. I am very lucky that I live in an area where it's usually 10 to 15 degrees warmer than the rest of Fairbanks when it comes to, cold temperatures. Now look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fairbanks, Alaska. This is what it looks like in Fairbanks, Alaska right now. Negative 32 is the high. It's the best it's going to get today on Monday, being negative 37 as the low. So it'll be negative 37 later on. So I would expect it to probably be about another negative 5 degrees more later on today as the day goes on here where I live. And it is not going to stop anytime soon. On Tuesday, we have negative 34 as a high and negative 36 as a low. Wednesday, you can see it's negative 29, negative 31, and it's going to start getting a little bit better as the days go on, but it's going to last pretty much in the negatives all the way through the end of this year. And all of this weather that we're experiencing here, you will start to experience in the next few days, and I believe it's going to last several days. So this is not one of those things that you're going to have one day that you have to hunker down and make it through. No, this is going to be something that's going to affect you for several days. So please prepare. Let's take a look at what it's looking like on the radar. Now, if you take a look at that purplish or pinkish color, that's like negative 30-degree weather. And I mean, take a look at how far it's going down. It goes all the way down through Texas, ladies and gentlemen. But the thing is that it takes and goes all the way back up to the northeast, even reaching parts of Florida. And this map right here, this is the one that should scare anyone that lives within that greenish, bluish, greenish area, because that is going to be very cold. If I'm not sure if you can see the numbers here because they're very small, but we're looking at negative 33 going all the way down. Look at this. It's even hitting Texas. The top part of Texas, -4, -6 degrees, all the way down to the bottom of Texas, 18 degrees above zero. But still, 18 degrees above zero is extremely cold for that part of the country. And take a look at this. Even towards the bottom of California, we're looking at 15 degrees and 17 degrees. But it encompasses pretty much the entire United States. Look at the East Coast. We have places where it's 1 degree. Look at this. It even hits the top of Florida, the panhandle of Florida. 42 degrees in Florida. And I've read reports where it says that in Florida, in some parts, it's going to get as low as 30 degrees, which is below freezing. And our brothers and sisters in Florida really aren't used to below freezing weathers. So make sure that you are preparing. Make sure that if you do have a backup generator, that you're making sure that it works, that you go out there and get some fuel for your generator. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because this is very serious, and it just, you know, it's terrible that it's happening during this time of year. But take a look at this here. In Michigan, it's actually not going to be too bad. Michigan is going to be 20, 21 degrees, which this time of year is not that bad for Michigan. But pretty much almost every state in the United States is going to be affected by this storm. Protect yourselves. That is why you prepare. This right here is why we prepare. We don't prepare for the end of the world. We prepare for things like this so that we can get through them. I'll tell you a quick story and then we'll leave it at that. I have someone that I talked to a couple of days ago that lives in Ohio, I believe it is, or Idaho. He lives in Idaho. And I was asking him, I said, so do you have a generator? And he said, no. And I spent about 15 minutes with him telling him why he should have a generator and what size generator he should have and this and this and that. And guess what? I called him today and he's got a generator on the checkout on his Amazon account, but he hasn't clicked the button yet. I said, you need to get a generator. It doesn't matter if you have solar. He has solar on his house. I said, it doesn't matter if you have solar. You need to get a generator. A generator is not for the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. A generator is for everyday life. So I hope that you're preparing for this storm that is coming, because you can make it through it very simply as long as you're prepared. Having said that, I do have one more video coming out later on today that talks about generators and solar generators. It actually includes my favorite brand, which is the Oaks solar generator. But I don't just talk about the Oaks. I talk about why you should have one, what size to get, and which kind you should get first, and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's very informative. So be on the lookout for that. And I put out a video earlier today that's not talking about storms, but it's talking about a different storm that's coming our way sooner than later. Having said that, have a great rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you take heed to the warning. Other than that, God bless every single one of you.